Welcome back. Okay, in the last lesson, we spent a little time exploring what role an idea plays in the movie making process. And in that, I went outside and I wandered around my neighborhood here in New York City, finding like random, kind of mediocre ideas that I think I could probably turn into a compelling little video. And your homework was to do the same. Go wherever outside, in your car, around your house, talk to your dog, and find a little idea, any idea, that we can now turn into a video. So, checklist. Got your idea, and now you need a camera. So take this, and now we're gonna go outside and we're gonna make it. Ready? Okay, let's go. Because this video is meant to be, super off the cuff, like this is our spontaneous video, I'm gonna be shooting everything on my phone. But before I do that, I wanna get into a little bit of my approach to cinematography. Now, without question, cinematography could be its own monthly course. The best cinematographers have dedicated their life to this craft. Look. This is Darren here, he's our cinematographer. So I'm not teaching you cinematography. I am by no means an expert with cinematography, but I know my approach and I know how I like to do things. The shots that I look for, the cinematography that I leverage typically falls into one of three buckets. I like a long lens, like a zoom lens. I like a medium lens, kind of a regular shot. And then I like a wide lens. All right, so this is a wide shot. This is what I call like the vlogger shot. And this is what I use when I talk to camera. The wide lens, it's practical because it fits my enormous head in the frame, but it also has this sense of intimacy. You see, I'm physically close to the camera here, so the viewer can sense that. They can feel my proximity to the actual lens. And because of that, it kind of feels like I'm talking to you. It feels like I'm talking to the viewer. That's where the intimacy comes from. When I want the viewer to focus on what I'm saying, I typically use this shot. Now, this is a medium shot. The medium shot is sort of the generic image. It's what your phone defaults to when you just turn it on or your camera turns on. If this were an SLR, I'd probably call this like a 24 mil, maybe 18 to 24 mil-ish shot. I use this shot when I'm trying to capture like my POV. The stuff you see when my hands are in the shot, it's usually for a medium shot when I'm walking around. And then when I'm filming another person, I use a medium shot. And then lastly is the zoom shot or the long shot. The long shot flattens out an image. It compresses everything you're seeing behind me into one dense shot. I use these typically for establishing shots when I'm trying to give context to the environment with which I'm shooting in. Long shots are really practical for that. Within those three buckets, I'm able to capture all the really generic facets of cinematography that I need to tell a story. That's super primitive, by the way. That's not everything there is to cinematography, please. But those three kinds of shots, they can be accomplished whether you're using a big camera with interchangeable lenses. They can be accomplished if you're using like a point and shoot camera that has a zoom lens built into it. And they can be accomplished with a cell phone. So there's not a lot of emphasis on the gear here. Our focus today is taking an idea, building a story around that idea, and turning that story into a compelling video. It's not the gear that makes something good. It's you. It's the story that you're telling. So that's why today I'm just gonna be using my phone. Marlon, I'm making like a educational series teaching people how I make movies. Yeah. If you had one piece of advice for the students out there, what have you learned about making movies with me for like, what, 4 or 5 years now? Is there a piece of advice you got, Marlon?
Go for it, man. Whatever you choose to do, give it your best shot. Because this guy, he believes in perfection, and he's gonna teach you the best. So whatever, my advice to you guys, whatever you're doing, do your best. Put your best foot forward all the time.
This guy.
Hey, and listen, have fun while doing it too.
Right?
Yeah.
Good to see you, Marlon. So I've got my idea. I've decided I want to make a movie about the counterfeit handbag operation. That's the idea. And now I need to get specific. Before I can like make a movie, I have to decide what is the story that I want to deliver that idea through. What about this counterfeit handbag operation specifically do I want to capture and share? What's my angle? Now there are any number of stories I could tell here. I could focus on the bags themselves and how they're like, they look nice from afar, but they're actually made out of plastic and they're low quality. Or I could focus on like the bigger issue of like the companies that are actually affected by their products being counterfeited. It's at this point in the process I ask myself, what about this idea is most interesting to me? What do I care about? I'm not thinking about like, what is the audience gonna care? Not what's gonna make the best movie. Like, what do I genuinely care about? Where's my interest in this? And I think the thing that's most interesting to me is the fact that like, these like tourists come from all over the world and all over the country, and they come to Canal Street to do what is literally an illegal activity of buying these things. Like that's fascinating. I find that fascinating. If I'm that interested, somebody else is probably interested. Okay, so that's gonna be my angle. I'm gonna actually go buy a counterfeit handbag, and I'm gonna try to make a movie about what the experience of buying a handbag is. This is Chinatown. This is my set. This is where I'm gonna film my little video. You know, every movie, every story has 3 acts, a beginning, a middle, and an end. I have the overarching approach, and right now I'm just focused on like the first act, the setup. I'm able to give context to what this story is. That's what I'm focused on right now. Not the whole movie, that's too much. Right now I'm just focused on that first act, my entry point. I'm literally just gonna get some like kind of generic but beautiful shots that establish this. Those are called establishing shots. And then maybe like when I'm editing, I'll put text over it, or maybe I can find a sign that says Chinatown. But right now, I'm gonna start this movie, this story, by showing the audience, by showing the viewers where we are. Let me get these shots. I'm looking right now for some interestingness. Like when I think of New York City's Chinatown, what is the image that I most associate that with? That's what I'm searching for, just with my eye. This is something. So you see, like, this is a basic shot, but I'm still using the longer lens, and the longer lens flattens out the image. See, like, that looks a little generic there. That doesn't make any sense. This nice flat shot. Okay, got it. Okay, that's something maybe. All right, this subway here, it says Canal Street, it's so iconic. I'm going with a medium shot. Nothing fancy, nice and square. And then I'm holding the camera as still as possible. I want this to look like I got it on a tripod or something. Okay. Now, right now, I don't know how I want to set this up. I know that this is going to be the intro to the movie, like the opening scene. Is it like a bop, 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 where it's a couple of different shots? Is this just one long shot? I don't know. So I'm capturing all the elements I might need to do some version of that. All right, I'm not sure if this is gonna have any bearing on my video, but there's a sign right there. It says hip hop jewelry. That's interesting to me, I'm gonna capture it. Sirens. I want someone to walk through the frame while I'm recording, because then I've got something to cut on. So I'm just gonna sit here until somebody walks through, and if I have to, here we go. Go ahead. And I got it. Maybe a throwaway, but I don't know, it looked interesting. Let's just keep walking. So I'm keeping track of what I've captured, and because this is like a simple little intro that I'm filming, it's not too much to keep track of. So I got a couple like close-ups and some medium shots, but what I need now is like a big shot that establishes exactly where we are. So if you're the viewer, interesting. Okay, here's where we are, and I'm ready for your story. So I'm like 2 wide shots away from having my intro shot. Okay, so this is the corner of Broadway and Canal. It's kind of action-packed. I think that my wide shot is gonna be here somewhere. I don't quite know what, but let me.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm struggling right now. I can picture in my head like a big fat shot that says like New York City's Chinatown or something. But I look around and like I don't see anything that represents that. That's what I'm struggling with right now. Like, what is the image that represents that? If I had a drone, that'd be easy, but I don't. I'm at the mercy of the limitations of my hardware. Okay, I think I got it. Okay, here's my idea. I think that there's nothing more iconic than in New York City than like a hot dog stand. So maybe if I get right up against the wall here, I could have the hot dog stand with Canal Street behind it. And maybe I can hold the camera still enough to have like maybe a time lapse of the cars going behind the hot dog stand. This will probably work. So I'm waiting for the traffic to start behind this hot dog cart. Because even though this shot feels like a nothing shot, if there's movement behind it, it just kind of like represents the tempo of the city. That's like a little subtlety, a little nothing, but all those nothings add up to like really telling a story. Okay, so now in my brain, I think I've probably got the first 5 seconds of this movie in the can. I've established where we are, but I haven't yet established what this movie is. Like I haven't explained to the viewer what I'm trying to do here. A number of ways to do that. I can do that with text on screen. I can do that with dialogue. I'm just gonna do what's easiest, what I always kind of do. I'm literally just gonna talk to the camera and explain what I'm about to do. I want to find a place where I can like rest my phone, because like walking and talking to the camera, I hate that shot. But if the camera is steady, if it's locked off, meaning like I literally just rested on something, the viewer then is able to focus on what I'm saying versus the movement and things like that. These are all little cinematography tips that you just kind of learn over time. Seems obvious, maybe it doesn't, but to me it's like, if I'm trying to listen to someone and pay attention to them, I'd rather have that shot be one that is totally steady than one that's chaotic. Chaos plays a role, but not here. So I need a spot to put this. Okay, I think I see where I can put it. So my camera's right here. It's filming that way. Go ahead, keep walking. And what I'm doing now is I'm letting it roll, like on the selfie lens, and it's just filming the street. And the idea here is I'll be able to time lapse this movement of the street, like the traffic. I'll cut that with the shot I have over there, except for this shot, as soon as there's no loud trucks there, I'm gonna step into frame and talk to the camera. So what I'm waiting for now is 2 things. I want to get the movement. I need all these cars to start moving. And then I need it to be a little quieter. There's a motorcycle there, there's a loud truck here. So just letting the camera do its thing. This is like the part of my videos that I work so hard to hide from the viewer, but this is the reality. It's almost always me sitting somewhere waiting for my camera to get the shot. All right, so traffic's moving. I'm getting my shot right now. People are walking through frame. This is a little thing, but I never pay attention to my camera when it's rolling, because if I pay attention, other people are gonna be like, what's he looking at? So I ignore it to get my shot. I'm gonna let this big grouping of people go by, I'm gonna let this bus go by, and then I'm gonna enter frame and deliver my line. This is New York City's Chinatown. Chinatown is known for a number of things, but it's also, Chinatown's known for its great food and nice people and other weird stuff, but it's also known for its counterfeit handbag and Rolex operation. But it's also known as the place you go in the city when you want to buy a counterfeit Rolex or handbag or something like that. And that's what I'm gonna be doing today. Today is the day I'm gonna buy a counterfeit handbag. This is technically criminal, but I think it's gonna make for a good video. Is that funny? You think that's funny? Yeah. It's funny? Okay. You got any advice for me?
That's why I giggle.
I wanna buy a fake handbag. I've never done it before.
It's easy, but make sure you have the right money in each pocket.
Really?
Yep, you can heckle them down.
Okay. I gotta have the cash ready to go.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Okay, so a couple of things were accomplished right there. I was able to deliver my line to the camera, set up the intro. I said it a couple of times. I kept tripping over my own words. I wanted to sound concise. I was sort of moving away from and then towards my camera, so I have something to cut to. And then as I finished saying my intro, I heard this woman behind me laughing at me, like she was literally mocking me. And I was like, that's funny, that's interesting. So at that moment, I grabbed my camera and spun around and I put her in it and I asked her, how do I buy a counterfeit handbag? Now all of a sudden, this thing that I could have never anticipated, which is a new character in my movie, just happened. And it was real. And this gets back to the idea of just getting started and just needing an entry point to make your movie. This is spontaneous filmmaking. There's no way I could have written that. I could have never predicted that. But all of a sudden now my story is that much more dynamic. It's not just about me, some weirdo buying a handbag, but there's this woman who I don't know, who's very funny and jovial, and she's part of my movie, and it was lighthearted. And now the tone of the movie is set, and it happened accidentally. It happened just because I was out here doing it. That's probably my favorite part of this kind of storytelling. You just never know where it's gonna go. I'm running the inventory in my head. What have I captured and what do I need? Where am I? Okay, I got my opening shot. I have all those shots. Okay, then I've got a really strong intro because I'm talking to camera and I have that interaction with that lovely woman in there. Okay, so where am I? I'm the viewer, what's next? I'm the one telling the story. I need to show a little bit of what the counterfeit handbag situation looks like. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sneak around and film on my phone from a distance the guys selling the counterfeit handbags. And look, the truth is here in New York, they just do it out in the open, but I'm gonna film it in a way that's much more suggestive, that makes it feel like a little bit more nefarious, because that's exciting. I'm taking some creative liberties here. So I'm gonna get those shots now. All right, let me find them. So, while I'm doing this, I'm always looking around for interestingness. Like the core of my idea is great, but I need to add substance to it. So if I see something compelling that I can connect to my story, I'm gonna grab it. That's what I'm looking for. We got a counterfeit sales going on over here, so. All right, those are the counterfeit handbags right there. Those are the counterfeit handbags there. See them on the ground? I'm using this garbage can for blocking, and it kind of communicates to the audience that I'm being sneaky right now. it's unnecessary, but for dramatic effect, it really works. Now I'm gonna get the reversal of that shot. It was me pointing. You can see my finger, but I'm gonna sort of flip it now. I'm gonna hide behind the, see him right there? I'm hiding behind a garbage can so nobody can see me. Those are the counterfeit bags. Try and get a little bit closer. Look, look. Those are counterfeit bags. Those are counterfeit bags right there. You want to be in my movie? Hold on. Okay, all right. I'm making a movie about how to buy a counterfeit handbag on Canal Street. You got any advice for me?
Just look around. Just look around. That's the only advice I have.
What about negotiations? You have any negotiating advice for me?
Negotiate.
Okay. All right.
Do your best.
You think they're gonna be mad at me if I film buying a counterfeit bag?
Yeah.
You do?
They will. They will.
So I gotta be sneaky.
Yeah.
All right, hold on.
What's up, my guy? So, did
Oh.
you like that?
It's great. It's great. All right, I'll let you know how this works out.
All
I'll
right.
show you the bag. Okay, hold on. Those are more handbags. Right there. All right, so I'm thinking now I've got my intro, I got the establishing shots, I've got some sneaky shots of the bags being sold. I still feel like I'm lacking some substance in this setup. It's not, the buildup right now is not dramatic enough. I need something more. Let me keep getting shots and maybe I'll figure out this something more. What I'm struggling to figure out right now is to sort of link this intro, some excitement, interacting with people, with the actual buying of the bag. All right, I think I've got it. Let's go this one. Here, I've got an idea, which is I see a bunch of counterfeit handbags across the street, and then I see a traffic crossing guard who looks enough like a cop for me to sort of pretend he's a cop while I'm filming the bags. That feels like drama. That's NYPD. That's NYPD right there, and those are, that's NYPD right there, and those are the handbags. Okay, I just saw maybe it was an interesting shot. It was a cop car driving away, so I filmed that and then panned back to the guy selling the handbags. I don't know, but you gotta persist. Okay, I think I'm at the point in the movie where I actually need to buy the handbag, I think. I still feel like the story is a little bit light, like I need something else, some more substance here. I don't know what that is, but I'm just gonna keep pushing ahead. Let me explain this to camera. I don't know that I want that, but I might want that. So now I need another place to stick this so I can talk to it. That works. All right, so what I'm doing right now is I set my camera up. This is the same shot that I did at the beginning of the movie. I'm letting it roll, so it's gonna get some movement. I'll speed that up so it's a time lapse, and then I'm gonna enter into frame, and I'm gonna explain to camera that I'm gonna buy the handbag. You know, for like a time lapse like this, I know there's a correct way to do time lapses with like real stills. I just let the video roll, and then I speed it up. It's like the most basic way to shoot a time lapse. All right, I don't know why I'm so nervous about this, but I'm nervous about this. There's some dudes over there that kind of seem cool. I think I'm gonna buy a Louis bag. This is what the process looks like. I'm not gonna film it because like, I don't want to freak them out. So I'm gonna stick my camera, my phone in my pocket. That's gonna be the angle that you see. Wish me luck. Wish me luck. On the other side of this, I should have a brand new fake Louis bag. Okay. My phone is in my pocket. Shoot. Okay. We'll do that shot again. All right, my phone, this camera in my pocket is now a spy camera. No hands. Going to buy a counterfeit bag. Here we go. How much are the bags? I want a Louis Vuitton, the tote bag. Yeah, like the two-handled tote bag. Like this one here. You got that? Oh, that's Dior. Okay. So, Gucci, Balenciaga.
Yo, we want to be famous like you. Put us on the line.
Oh, I'll put you in the movies. I'll put you in the movie.
For the new one.
You got a different one too?
Yeah, it's the new one.
Let me see what that one
This
looks.
on a big size.
That one looks more like a purse. I like this. It looks like a tote.
Right.
How much is this?
150.
Okay, I only have $100.
All right, give me the money, no problem.
All right, okay, okay, bag it up, bag it up. 20, 40, 60, 81.
It's all yours.
My man.
So our goals are
Mission accomplished. I got my counter. I'm redoing that because this is like, iPhone doesn't have great sound. That motorcycle is really loud. So I want this cop car behind me for this shot, because this is the shot where I'm gonna say to the camera, I got my counterfeit handbag. And it's more interesting with a cop car behind me. Interestingness, I wanna leverage that for my movie. Okay. All right, mission accomplished. I got my counterfeit handbag. He wanted 150 bucks. I negotiated down 100. And yeah, I feel good about it. I'm just thinking here. Okay, this is like the hardest part of the spontaneous movie making process, which is like, okay. Honestly, this is the part of the process that like is the hardest for me. When I was doing my daily vlog, I would reach this point every single day, and it's one of like peak frustration and confusion. This is the time of the part of the process where I want to quit making movies and just go home. And the reason why is that I sort of had this vision in my head of what this little video was gonna be, and I wanted it to be like exciting and feel like I was like doing something criminal and cool. And instead it was kind of soft. Like those guys who sold it to me, those guys weren't causing any trouble. They were nice. So my expectations of what I was capturing have no resemblance to what I actually captured. And this is like one of kind of the virtues of like this sort of filmmaking, like my vlogging or spontaneous filmmaking, which is you don't know what you're gonna get. And right now I'm confronting getting something that I didn't anticipate. So I'm not gonna quit, don't quit. Now I'm just sitting here and I'm thinking, what kind of story can I pull out of what I just shot? As unexpected as this feels every time, this is the process. And what separates those who do from those who don't is the willingness to overcome this, like, this part, this confusion, this frustration. I'm gonna take this back to the studio, and I'm not gonna look at my phone. I'm not gonna go get lunch. I'm not gonna get a cup of coffee. I'm gonna do nothing but stare at the wall until I can figure out how to make this movie whole. Okay, let's go. All right, real quick, my friend Lexi is this girl with this pink hair right now. I'm gonna say hi to her. Make sure you get that on camera, okay? But I'm gonna be filming for my movie too. Lexi! I'm trying to make a movie about a counterfeit handbag. Do you own any counterfeit handbags?
I don't, because I know they're counterfeit. And
What do I do with this thing?
what do you want to do with it?
I
Give it to someone.
don't.
Someone's bound to want this bag.
I'm gonna go finish my movie about it.
Okay.
Okay. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
I'm literally making movies about how teaching filmmaking,
Okay.
and that's what these guys are all doing. And I'm trying to like make a movie about a counterfeit handbag to demonstrate how I make movies. So what I'm gonna do right now, I need to like film a bit about this counterfeit handbag, but I want the ending of the movie to be me running outside and just giving it to you as a gift.
Okay.
Is that funny? I'll be back like 15 minutes?
Take your
Okay,
time.
okay, cool. I'll come find you, or I'll text you.
Okay.
I think I just figured out the ending of the movie. By like running into my friend Lexi, I think I just figured it out. Okay, I've got my bag, and I figured out the movie. I ran into a friend of mine outside, and we had this cheery conversation. It sort of struck me. It's like, this movie wasn't what I thought it would be. This movie wasn't what I had anticipated. I thought this was gonna be a movie when I set out to capture it, showing me doing something that maybe I shouldn't be. And I was gonna lean into that aspect of it. I was gonna make it feel like a little bit maybe troublesome, a little bit sneaky, a little bit of like, ooh, I can't wait to see what happens here. But that wasn't the reality that I encountered. So I was forced to rethink that, which is stressful and hard and everything in between. Instead of this video being this like gritty underbelly of New York kind of video, instead it's gonna be something that I think is gonna be much more optimistic, like much more kind of happy. So now for this ending, like what it's literally going to be is I'm gonna take some glamour shots of my counterfeit handbag, because if I'm the viewer right now, I wanna see that, like show me what this bag looks like. And that will also serve as a very, I think, very effective transition from me being outside in the chaotic city to me being in here. And the shot that's going to precede that, that's gonna come after these glamour shots, is gonna be me talking to camera about what this experience was like. And that will serve as my third act, as my ending. The ending is always the hardest part of any story told. The ending has to be a bow that ties the whole thing together. It's the punctuation mark at the end of a complete thought. The third act is the most important act. Without an ending, you don't have a story. And that's really challenging with this somewhat chaotic process that I go through in making movies, because I almost never know what that ending is going to be when I first pick up the camera. For me, the process is one of having confidence that in spontaneously capturing this world around me, something that's real, that this ending, this conclusion, will present itself. And that, after some struggle, is exactly what happened today. This ending found me, I didn't find it. It wasn't what I anticipated, but I think it's gonna be great. All right, so what this is my shooting table. You've probably seen this in some of my other videos. The purpose of this is when I need to film something kind of close up, this is a way of reducing all the noise around it. So right now I'm just trying to get some close-up shots of my counterfeit bag. I could shoot this outside, but you'd be distracted by the background. But don't think you need to have like Not that this is fancy. Don't think you need to have a specific shooting table like I have. I could also go and shoot this in the hallway where the walls are white, but I'm just choosing to shoot it here because I have it ready. Funny story, this is just deli paper. This is not anything filmy or specific. This is just deli paper, but now I've got a clean white backdrop. It's a pretty impressive knockoff. Feels legit. I'm gonna bring this back for Candace. My wife, my fancy wife, would be able to tell you this is a knockoff from 500 feet away, and she has terrible vision. Okay. Okay. This is like the overhead shot that I'm trying to get on my phone, but it's super yellow in here right now, so I'm just gonna turn on my like white fluorescent lights, and maybe that'll balance out the color a little bit. I don't sweat this stuff. Natural light's my favorite. You don't need movie lights to do this. My recommend is like just do it near a window, but all my windows are covered right now, so I'm gonna turn on these lights. And look, at the end of the day, if your story's told well, and no one cares about the lighting. Split this wood. Please don't split. Okay. That's a little bit better. Well, you look at that. Okay, so, all right, my phone's balancing here. It's shooting straight down. This is like my favorite shot. It's just a direct overhead shot. Slide in the Louis bag. Slide it open. Gently caress. Flip, caress. Okay, so that was a wide shot. Gonna cut. And now I'm gonna shoot a close-up. And this is just so I have something to cut to. But it makes it feel like a fancy production. So now I'm gonna repeat that action, but in a closer up shot. So that move, this is me taking it out of my shooting table so I can cut to a different shot now. I got my glamour shots. Now I want to bring it back for like my final thought, like how I'm going to conclude this video. That period at the end of this long paragraph. Okay, I got my glamour shots, and now I'm gonna do the thing where I like talk to camera. Normally I would shoot this shot like on my big camera right here, but because this video I'm making on my phone, I need this thing like right there. Okay, it's kind of like a tripod. Gonna use this tape to hold the camera up and a stapler to keep it from falling backwards. I just need this to not fall over. All right, now I'm gonna like do this action again so I can cut these two shots together. All right, so this is my Louis bag. Very proud of it. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but I didn't like what I said. I'm doing it again. Okay, so I got this Louis bag. Not 100% sure what to do with it, but mission accomplished. You know, okay, so thinking out loud here, but right there, I sort of changed the tone of what I was saying. So to further that, I'm gonna switch the shot from like this really wide shot on my phone to something a little bit tighter on my face. See if I can do it without knocking over my camera here. You know, I expected the process of buying like a counterfeit handbag to be a little bit like, I don't know, buying drugs or doing something illegal or something scary. But what I found is like, those dudes are super nice down there. While I don't endorse the counterfeit handbag industry, and I have no doubt that it has real harm on companies, tourists coming to Chinatown to buy these to take them home as souvenirs, I didn't get it, and I do get it now. It was like kind of exciting, it's kind of fun. I have this cheap knockoff now, and I've got a great. But the reality is that ending that I didn't have just kind of made sense to me in my head, and the general ethos, the idea behind the ending is like, this is something pleasant. So what I'm trying to do in my brain is like make sense of that and turn that into words. Putting a pen to paper would probably be more efficient here, but I'm just gonna keep saying the same thing over and over until it sounds like I make sense. And in my edit, I'll make it make sense. Now, I expected the process to be something that was like a little criminal, a little nefarious. It wasn't. It was like kind of pleasant. The dudes who sold these were really nice. And this is absolutely not an endorsement of the counterfeit handbag industry, but I started this little movie here not knowing why tourists are so attracted to this, and I think now I get it. It was exciting, it was interesting, and at the end of the day, I get to go back to Cleveland or wherever I'm from with this cool souvenir and a story that is, I bought a fake Louis Vuitton bag in New York City's Chinatown. Okay, I'm gonna put it back to the wide angle now to try to put a little bow on the end of this, which is I bought this counterfeit handbag. Get to go back to Cleveland or wherever they're from. They get to go back to Cleveland or wherever they're from, and they have a souvenir, which is this cheap plastic counterfeit Louis Vuitton bag. Now I just have to figure out what to do with it, and I think I've got it. Okay, so I gotta fake that shot again because it cut on accident. Okay. Lexi, I got you a present. It's a Louis Vuitton bag.
Oh, thank you.
Lexi, I need a bigger reaction than that. I'm trying to make the ending of my movie work. Lexi, I got you a present. It's a Louis Vuitton bag.
Oh my God, thank you.
You're the best. So like what we're doing for this lesson is I'm making a movie on my cell phone, and now you're the ending of the movie. Okay? All right, that's it. I'm gonna go back upstairs and finish this now. Bye, Lex. Okay, I got my last shot, and I think that means I've got all the footage I need. I've captured everything I need to turn that whole experience, all this footage, into a tightly wrapped, well-edited little movie. The 3 acts, I definitely got this set up. I got the second act, which was me actually buying the bag. Then I hit a brick wall, and I didn't know what my third act was. I didn't know what that resolution was, but I had faith. I had the confidence that I would discover it, or that it would present itself. I knew that I'd find it. And then that's exactly what happened. As I was at like peak frustration, ready to give up, boom, the idea hit me in the face. And that part of this process is one of my favorite parts of filmmaking, is that you get to discover your story. You know you're gonna find it, and then when you do, it's extremely satisfying. So now you have to go do the same. You got your idea, you've got some sort of camera, I hope. Go out there and tackle it, and maybe you have your 3 acts figured out. Maybe you're like me and you're hoping to discover the second and third act somewhere. But go capture it, get it, overcome whatever hurdles get thrown in your way. And you know what? I think you should, if you can, use your phone. Even if you have professional gear or whatever else you might have, skip that. Use your phone, use something basic like this, because what that's gonna do is it's gonna force you to focus on the story and not on the hardware, and that's what this lesson is about. And with that, I will see you at our next lesson. And in our next lesson, we're gonna be doing the edit. We're gonna be taking all of these random parts and turning them into a nice, tight, well-wrapped little package that we call a movie. So I will see you then.